My name is Ray McMahon, and I'm going to be explaining the 1920s and everything that happened. The 1920s was a time period where everything seemed to be going very well and everything was like booming and such, but this was really not the case, and find out that down the road a lot of bad things would start to happen afterwards. But there was a lot of new forms of art and a lot of political things going on during that time that will be discussed. First up, there is the Age of Excess, which is where there was a lot of supply but very little demand. There was like people started buying on credit instead of using cash, and the farmers were losing their jobs and houses and such because they couldn't pay off their debt. Next up, we have women in the 1920s. So women had earned the right to vote during this time, and this led to women being more present in society, like political wise anyways, and also women were in the workforce more, and they had jobs that were kind of assigned to women still, but they were present in the workforce. And also, like, the image of the flapper was like a symbol of the changing, like. Next up is the Jazz Age, which was very prominent. The 1920s is called the Jazz Age by some people. So jazz came out of New Orleans, very, very popular, and it was pretty much started by African Americans and kind of led to the Harlem Renaissance, which is a neighborhood in New York. And Harlem Renaissance is like where Black culture and everything was like gaining popularity and people wanted to talk about it. And so that was like, there was books, like literature things like books and poems and all that, and then there was also art, like paintings and such, and then of course music like jazz. Next up, we got new technology. There's quite a few things. There's the radio, which was very common, and like almost everyone had one. There's the cars, like the Ford Model T that was coming out, and then other brands were also producing cars to make competition. And next we have new entertainment. So there was like sports. Baseball was very popular during that time period, and television, these and such that had like sound instead of just being silent. Political extremists, there was a bunch of ends of the spectrum. Like there was communists, and then that they led to the Red Scare, which was just like Americans being afraid that communists were going to take over the country, so they tried to get all the communists out of the country. And then there's things like the Scopes trials, which was like an educational thing but still political, about teaching evolution in schools, versus like the Christian point of view. And then we have Prohibition, which was a very major thing. It led to a lot of other events down the line that were not good, organized crime and such. And it also led to, just like a lot of illegal activities, and people didn't listen to it at all, and it eventually got like just overturned. And then we have organized crime, which, as I said, is related to Prohibition, like Al Capone and everything. Like gangs started rising up in popularity because of Prohibition, and they were starting the illegal sale of alcohol and all that. And then also like gambling and prostitution and other things that were not legal. There's arts and literature, which was talked about a little bit earlier, like African American art. But this was very prominent. And then there was artists who would depict like how life really, like, it was not good in the 1920s. And then there was other people who focused on more simple things, but they had a deeper meaning. And then there was also the Lost Generation, who just didn't accept anything that was going on in America, like the Maximist view, I would say, and they just like left and for Europe. 1920s politics, there was President Harding was president until he died, and he had like the Teapot Dome scandal, which was like the people who were like worked for him had like been giving money out and such, and it was not legal. And so he was involved in all that, but he died of a heart attack and was taken over by Hoover. And he did not run again after he finished out that. This one is Signs of Trouble, which there were many signs of trouble. The economy is a big one. That's like the most major one. How it seemed to be doing well, but in reality it was not. Stock market, it seemed to be doing very well. It really wasn't. And I think that's about it. So thank you. Goodbye.